I hope you're ready.
This is Unbridled Thoughts.
We want to hear what you have to say.
Welcome back to Unbridled Thoughts Podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Ren, and you better grab the mane because there are no reins in Unbridled Thoughts.
I love that. All right, so you got to tell me about your big weekend.
Yes, we did have a big weekend. Chris and I got an opportunity to do a preview of Universal Studio Orlando's Epic Universe, which was so exciting. So we got to get a little sneak preview and kind of go in. We could only go for a day. We got on there, did the queue, worked on it, got it. So excited. So we actually got to get there a little bit before a lot of other people have. So it was a wonderful opportunity. So we only had one day, and I'm letting you know right now, one day is not enough.
That's crazy.
And I'm going to share some things with you guys, but I want you to know that if you can go for more than one day, I highly, highly recommend it. We're going to tell you a little bit about some things, but we don't want to spoil too much. So you're not going to get too many spoilers in this. So don't be afraid to listen to this before you go. We're actually going to have some really good tips for you guys too that may help out. So hopefully that will help when you guys go with your family. But I'm going to take you through the park and kind of what we experienced, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it was Chris who jumped in there, right, and was able to get on the queue and get on them because he's so good with his concert buying ticket experience.
So they did a release for if you were if you have like a pass, so like a annual pass holders sort of invitation. And we were at a scary movie convention in Tampa, and we overheard some locals talking. And so we heard kind of a little tip, and I went up to them and said, "Hey, I heard a little tip. Is it okay if I get that tip from you? Would you mind sharing? Because we are not from Florida." And they said, "Yeah." They said, just get on early, be ready. So we were. He got on the queue. It was like an hour wait time, I think, on the queue. And so I was like, "Well, just set a timer," because he had a little break. And then once the time went off, he jumped on it and he got it. So all his concert ticket skills that have led up to this point that he's snagged his tickets, he was working it.
These are kind of coveted. I know a lot of people were bummed they didn't get them, you know what I mean? So
yeah, there'll still be opportunities to get them, but it really was just a rehearsal, just to kind of go through and check it out and give feedback and things like that. So we were very fortunate that we not only got them, but we got them so early in the season.
Yeah.
So we ended up going on Easter Sunday, which was kind of cool because the park was full, but it wasn't as full as it probably would have been.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
So when you walk in, the very first university you walk into is kind of the main hub of the park, and it's the grand entrance, and it's called Celestial Park. So it's sort of celestial stars, constellations, zodiac themed. It's really beautiful. It's almost kind of reminiscent of like sort of that Smashing Pumpkins album that came out that was like the sun and the stars and the moon. Yeah. It's like very much that kind of a vibe. It's really cool. So there's 4 main restaurants in there, and then there is this huge interactive fountain that is also a water show called Astronomica.
Oh, neat.
It's amazing. It's almost like a mini version of the one that's in Vegas. But it's synced up to the music, and it's real playful. It'll interact with you.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool.
Crazy.
And then there are the Celestial Park Gardens, which have all of these flowers and foliage, and they had live music. And they have a constellation carousel, which is this big, beautiful, old-school carousel, kind of like the one in Balboa Park when we were kids. It's very much like that. Then they had this ride called Stardust Racers. They're dueling coasters, and when I heard about that, I thought maybe it was like the Dueling Dragons. It's not. It's not like Dueling Dragons. Dueling Dragons, when they would start, they'd launch, and they'd go straight towards each other. These don't quite do that. We only got to ride it once, unfortunately, but we found out when we got there from some people who had ridden it a few times that there's a yellow one and a green one, and they're both completely different.
Oh, wow.
Yes, so that's important. The yellow one, it gives you more airtime. So more like G-forces, like that feeling you get when you fly off your seat. You get a lot of that.
Wow.
The other one is fast as hell. It is like full turbo force, like you go fast. It's real quick and more zooms. I was excited about this because I like roller coasters. And it was done by the same people that did Velocicoaster. So I kind of knew what to expect. And Velocicoaster is a pretty extreme coaster. The bar kind of sits right on your lap. It doesn't go over your shoulders. So you don't really feel secured in. And it has a lot of barrel rolls. So it like whips you around. And so you really are like, and you really don't have anything to hold on to. So you're like processing. Okay. I was like, okay, well, I know what to expect. Nope. No. We went on the yellow one. This was, to me personally, more intense than Velocicoaster. My body never had a chance to like recoup after like one or two dips or twirls. I was like, oh my God. And it was like, it was so exciting and so thrilling, but it also was like, oh my God, I'm going to die. Oh, I'm okay. Wait, no, I'm not. I'm going to die. Like it was like constantly that. It was like so extreme.
Yeah.
Like we got off and I was like shaking from all the adrenaline. It
That's
was really
crazy.
good. Then there was Dark Universe, which you know is my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
Because I love like all the spooky ooky stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like horror movies and things like that.
What was your favorite part about it?
So I love Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. I love all that anyway. And I've loved all that my whole life ever since I was a kid. And I remember seeing when Star Wars Land opened up at Disney World and people that were huge Star Wars fans walked in for the first time and they were doing like reaction videos and people were crying. And I mean, people were like overwhelmed. They just couldn't even speak. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, but I couldn't at the time relate to anything like that. I walked into this place for the first time and literally had that reaction.
That's so fun.
It was amazing. It was like having like your childhood turned into a theme park for real. It was so exciting.
That's exciting.
So that park has this kind of cool theme that was pulled from Halloween Horror Nights. If you've been a longtime Halloween Horror Night fan, you guys will remember a storyline they did a year or two ago that was Dr. Frankenstein's daughter and Dracula's daughter were having like a fight or a war, and Frankenstein's daughter had a lab where she was doing some shady business recreating the monsters. So what they did was they took that storyline specifically with Victoria Frankenstein and turned it into basically the core story of this whole park.
Oh, wow.
And it runs through all of it.
That's cool.
And it's so cool because when you walk in, they heavily suggest that she is literally sucking up all the electricity in the park. She's like the little influencer in the park. So when her machine surges, the whole town, you can see the light surging and electricity going.
Wow.
And that's everywhere you are. So
Yeah.
everywhere you are, you always know she's working on it.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
It's really cute. And the restaurant they had there was called Das Steakhouse. And it was beautiful. It looks like an old castle inside. And when you walk in, they have the catacombs there on the side. And inside is this beautiful big dining hall with all of these carved chairs. They have like bats carved, lots of woodworking. And then you see these two vampires that were once living, and they're in their true form. They're not sexy vampires. They're like in kind of like that bat face kind of look, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And they're like staked to the wall. I guess the hunter got them. But they're like there on display. And then the food was actually really good. I didn't mind it.
Really?
The theme park food, yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Cool.
Then we had the Burning Blade Tavern, which is a bar that is underneath a huge reproduction of the burning windmill from the 1931 Universal Studios film Frankenstein. And I think it's like every 10 to 15 minutes, it ignites on fire, and the blades are on fire.
Oh, wow.
Which is so cool, and that's
Yeah.
all day. And then inside they have like curated drinks and things like that. And then they had awesome rides too. There was the Curse of the Werewolf, which is sort of like it's sort of like a family friendly
Yeah.
kind of ride. It's thrills, but more low key.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give too much away, but there's really cool things about the ride that I've never experienced in another ride that that intensely, even though it's like kind of calm thrills.
Yeah.
But the storyline is really cool, and we wrote it during the day. However, I highly recommend you wait and write it at night, because we heard at night it's a completely different experience.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
I know.
Things are definitely different when you do them at night versus daytime.
Yeah, especially that one, because of like all the cool effects and things.
Yeah.
Then we had the Monsters Unchained ride. It was incredible. I thought I knew what I was going to expect when I got on it, because again, I'm not going to give too much away. But when I got on it and I kind of saw how the ride was, I was like, oh, it's going to be like this. No.
Yeah.
I literally have never ridden anything like that at all.
Really?
It was incredible. And there were times where I was like, like I was like, oh my God. Like I got startled, like literally startled. And then I was able to ride it a second time, because I was like, let me get back on there. And I got startled in the same places. Like I knew it was going to happen, but it's just like so thrilling and exciting.
Yeah.
And the intro of the ride reminded me of, it was a video that went viral of a theme park in the UK that kind of had a similar sort of like gothic theme. And I was like, oh, that ride looks so cool. And then when we got there, we were looking at it, we're like, oh my gosh, this looks so similar to that one cool ride. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's like gothic and dark and sort of like just beautifully like orchestrated the entire thing all
Nice.
throughout. The storyline's great. The whole queue is incredible. So much detail
Yeah.
through the entire thing. The one heads up I'll give you guys is, if you guys are going and you hear someone announce that the ride is at a temporary standstill or a temporary hold, like if something kind of goes off with the ride and they have to work on it for a second, if it says temporary, hang tight. However, if the announcement changes to an extended wait time, go ahead and step out of the ride, or if you bought a fast pass, go ahead and go find someone who works there and see if they'll renew your fast pass to go back through, since you didn't technically use it, and come back at a later time, because it's just going to take a little more time. And if you're going this year, you're probably only going to be allotted so much time to ride everything,
Yeah.
and you have to use your time wisely.
Right.
So that was the one heads up about that one. And then the stores inside, like the Darkmoor Munster, I had to totally resist. It's everything I've ever seen, everything I've ever bought, that I've ever wanted to buy. I used to have to like scrounge through stores to find like movie monster stuff, cool horror stuff, like in boutiques and things, anything Halloween-y. I've been into it since I was a kid. So I used to have to really look, or my
Yeah.
family would have to really look to find that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So now it's like a store that's all it is. And I had to like shove my hands in my pockets, like old school. So I'm like, don't look. I don't need this. I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. But like, it is everything you can think of for like your home,
Yeah.
your office, like all the heavy hitters are there. You're like, I can't look at it. That was so hard. And then if you look while you're there near what's called Praetorius' Scientific Oddities, there is a makeup experience where they'll do your makeup like the Munsters, but the artists are so good.
Really?
They did one girl, and I think she was like 7 or 8, and they did half of her face as Bride of Frankenstein, and then half of her face as like Dracula's daughter.
Oh my goodness.
And they like did the shading and like the blending, and it looks so cool. Like they were shadowing and everything. I was like, okay, pop off, Universal. It looked really good. And then the other thing was that if you hang out and walk around, eventually the monsters will come out.
Uh-huh.
And you can see Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, but we ended up seeing the Invisible Man, which was so cool. And he did such a good job.
He's invisible.
I know, right? Well, you know, he's got his face wrap on. He's in his little sunglasses, his little sunnies.
Yeah.
But I remember in the film, he wasn't the nicest guy.
Yeah.
Y'all, he was like, he's sharp. So if you come up to him and you start talking to him, be prepared, because he will shut you down. He is like real snippy, real quick. He has no patience for you. I mean, that's part of his whole appeal.
Yeah, yeah.
But just if you're going to go up and say hi and talk to him, just be prepared.
Yeah.
Like, be on your toes.
That was a good movie.
It was. I like the remake, too.
Yeah.
Remake was really good.
The remake was really good.
Yes,
It was really good. They did a really good job remaking that.
they did. I loved
Yeah.
it. That one, like, really kept me guessing.
Yeah.
And the first one, you would think it'd be kind of like, nowadays, before you watch it, you'd be like, oh, The Invisible Man, this is going to be kind of corny. Then you go back and watch it, and you're like,
It was good for how old it was.
yes, and it's scary
Yeah.
for that time.
I
Like,
know.
Oh, my God. And then the other world that we went into was Super Nintendo World. So, full disclosure, I am not a huge video game player, but all of my closest friends are. So, I had a familiarity of all the things that I was going to see. And one of the rides that we rode was Donkey Kong Country's Minecart Madness coaster.
Okay.
I think is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's from the game, and you're on these little mine carts, and the carts go down the track, but then the track is completely broken, and then the cart will actually fly across the broken track to the other side.
Yeah.
It's really wild. It was fun.
That's cool.
It's a little shaky,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of fun. It kind of was like reminiscent of The Mummy a little bit in parts to me.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
yeah.
why I loved it a lot.
Yeah. Mummy was a good ride.
Yeah, I love The Mummy.
Is it still around?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's awesome. I ride that every time I go to Universal. And then there was Yoshi's Adventure, which is this really gentle, chill kind of, I mean, it's for everybody, but kids will love it. And you just hop on one of the little guys and you just kind of coast through and see like the little motions and like all the little characters and everything. And then they had Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge. The ride queue for that, like the line, was one of the best ones I've ever seen. It really like puts you there.
Oh, wow.
It was so cool. We walked
Yeah.
through it and it was like all these different rooms. Like you're like in his little throne room. You
Yeah.
see a statue.
Yeah.
And like all like you can see all the little weapons and the other rooms where he's prepping. Like it's so cool. It's like so detailed. So if you love the game, you will lose your mind.
Oh, that's fun.
And then we did I think what the other one was. In that one, I believe that one is the one where we put on some special goggles. And that's all I'm going to say about that. That's all you get because I don't want to ruin anything for you, but it's so much fun. And that is one you definitely want to play with your friends or family. It's awesome. So the other thing I would say is if you've ever been to a place that has like a play area, like a lot of times when I go to theme parks with my friends that have young kids, sometimes their favorite part, the kids' favorite part is like the playground.
Yeah.
And they can just, you'd be like,
Run
oh,
around.
We're here
Yeah.
at Universal, we're here at Disney. I'm like, oh, I'm good. I'm just going to play on this playground like
Yeah.
all day. Okay. Super Nintendo World is literally that. It's
Nice.
really cool. It's like a whole land that is just that. You can climb on everything. You can interact with anything. So kids love it. And then they had the Toadstool Cafe, which has Mario-themed, cute and colorful food. And the only other thing I would say, too, if you have kiddos, is this. The park is young, so the trees are young.
Yeah.
I need y'all to know that as an esthetician, I religiously reapply my sunscreen every hour, and I wore a hat, and I still got burned. So there's really no break from the sun at this park. So if you have kiddos that are they're old enough where they don't need a stroller, I highly recommend like either a UV shirt, especially one with a hood,
Yeah.
or even a parasol for yourself or something to like you need a break from the heat because you'll be having so much fun you won't even realize how like long you're out there.
Yeah.
And you'll get burned pretty easy out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we went to How to Train Your Dragon, Ala Burke, and that was so much fun. There is Hiccup Wing Glider, which is a launch coaster. It's kind of similar to, I kind of thought it was a lot like Slinky Dog. And then they had the ride Fire Drill, which is an interactive water battle. And the kids lost their mind on that. I don't know how the parents liked it, but the kids were having a blast, just
Yeah.
like shooting water at other people. And that's probably when you want to stay for the end of the day because you will get like drenched,
Yeah.
like soaking wet.
Isn't there like a Toy Story one that's like that ride you can go on to somewhere, I think, where there's like a little spray or something? Like, is that at California or something? I just have a memory. I can't remember.
There could be. And this one was supposed to be, I guess in the original movies, it was like a literal like fire drill, but then they've in this land it's turned into like a water play kind of thing, which is
that's
kinda cool.
cool.
And then they have the Untrainable Dragon show there, which again, we didn't have any time to go to shows, but we heard amazing things about it. Really, really cool experience. Visually is stunning. The music's incredible. And then one of the highlights was we saw Toothless and Toothless's baby Hatch,
Oh,
which are both robotic.
sorry guys, I dropped the microphone.
This is where Sarah gets emotional. Toothless had a baby? Toothless had a baby.
Well, we have a cat named Zaxby that looks so much like Toothless to me, and then she had a baby too.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, a little baby girl.
And those are, I mean, they're like robotic. It's kind of cool. Not to say the
Yeah.
magic away, but they're
Yeah.
robotic. But if you want to see one of the coolest things, I love Love is on the Spectrum. And I love Connor Tomlin from Love is on the Spectrum. And his Instagram account, it's Connor Tomlin, Tomlin, and then it's SON5 for season 5 on Instagram. There's a video of him interacting with them, and it is the best one I've seen. It
I
is so
love that.
cute and so precious. And he has some awesome educational videos about being on the spectrum and going to theme parks, which I
Yeah.
got to watch. And I was like, this is like really cool to see someone share this kind of stuff. And then we had the Mead Hill Viking Dining Hall, which is like what you think of in a Viking movie. So huge, epic, vast dining hall, which
Yeah.
has like really good food. But the snack carts were kind of the big deal here because they had something that everyone told us we had to try, which was the mac and cheese cone. Mm-hmm. We got a tip that we were supposed to get the PB&J. It's like a pork, bacon, and jam, pork and bacon jam, macaroni cheese, like in this bread cone. They said, just get that one. Don't bother with the other two. I got that one. Chris got the mac and cheese, or he got the goldfish one. He was so excited. He got the goldfish one. It was not great.
Wrong kid died.
Yeah, but the PBJ one, that's the one you want to get.
Yeah.
And it was like the bechamel in there was like nice and moist, and like it was like a really good texture. It was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said moist on a podcast. I heard that was a taboo.
Some people really don't like that word.
I know.
Never bugged me,
sorry.
but some people get crazy about
Me
it.
neither, I don't mind. And then the last one we did was the Wizarding World of Harry Potter's Ministry of Magic. This takes place in Paris in the 1920s. And the big ride there was the Battle at the Ministry, which was breathtaking. The engineering and robotics and everything that went into this ride was gorgeous. Again, I can't give too much away, but it is so beautiful and seamless. You literally cannot tell what is real, what is not.
Oh, wow.
We questioned everything.
That's cool.
And there is a queue for that. So you got to hop on the queue to get on. Be patient. I think they do 3 that day. They do one at 11 a.m., one at 3 p.m., and one at 6 p.m. So just have your app out and be ready to go and hop on that queue. And when you get on there, just be in the moment. Don't expect anything and just get lost in it because it's
Yeah.
so cool to get lost in. But even with this one, the mindfulness of these line queues
Yeah.
was amazing. And you can see like these engineers put so much into the set design, the decor. This queue alone has been made to sustain a 7-hour wait time.
Oh, wow.
That's how detailed this thing is. And there are parts of this line queue that literally I don't think you would ever see the same thing twice.
Dang. That's
That
crazy.
is how much work was put into this.
That's crazy.
Like there were times where people had to remind us to keep moving because our jaw was open. Like we were like, oh my gosh, like it was wild.
That's cool.
But I will have to tell you that one of my favorite things about this park was the costumes. I guess the uniforms that people wear.
Yeah.
Girl, the uniforms for this park were for the gals and the gays. That is all I have to say. So, like, the men's uniforms are like tight, so you can they're like very form fitting.
Yeah.
Like insanely so. So it was like at one point we were all walking through the park and they had like the butterbeer cart, and this gentleman walked up. He's like, "Do you want some butterbeer?" And I like looked at him. I was like, "Oh, I didn't. I really didn't." But I was like in my mind, I was
I'll
like,
take some now.
maybe I want some butterbeer. And I wasn't gonna get butterbeer. The line was so
I will
long.
take whatever you're serving.
And I went to go say no, thank you. And I kind of tripped on my words. And I was like, I don't have time. And he was like, everyone has time for butterbeer. And I was like, oh, I wish I had time for butterbeer. And then there was an actress that was wearing like the I'm going to say this wrong, the Beaubaton uniform, the real beautiful blue. But it was like this beautiful like sateen. It shimmered in the sun.
Yeah.
All the little details and honestly, every park, like especially Dark Universe, they're all detailed, really tailored and beautiful. But the ones at this park were like outstandingly gorgeous. I love them. They were colorful and bright. And then we had really cool little shops, like kind of what you see in Diagon Alley with all the wand experiences. And then they had the Leaky Cauldron restaurant, but the cafe there's a little cafe there if you get to go. And we went because someone had suggested the butterbeer crepes. Mm-hmm. Chris is not a fan of butterbeer, nor is he a fan of crepes. But we decided to go in and try them. Mm-hmm. And I was like, let me get some real food, because by that point we've been walking.
Yeah.
It took like, 20, how many steps did we take that day?
Like close to 20,000.
20,000 steps that day. So we were like, we're getting kind of hungry. So we went in, I was like, oh, order some real food, and then we'll try the crepes. So we're like theme park food. We're not really thinking anything. They have one of the best tarts I've ever had. It's a savory tart. Mm-hmm. It was roasted tomato
Nice.
and goat cheese.
That's my jam.
And then it was like a handmade, like a flaky pastry.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Really?
And then the crepes came out, and Chris was like, and I took a bite, and I'm like, okay, I'm not telling you to try them, just try them. But you would actually like them, because they are butterbeer kind of tasting, but they're more like a butterscotchy.
Nice.
And then he took a bite and just like wolfed them down. They were so good. And like the plating was so
he pulled a
mindful.
Sarah, huh?
Yeah. But
No food is safe in Sarah's presence, going to tell you now.
But if you need like a little break, like especially a sensory break, this cafe is a place to go. If you can get a seat on the patio and people watch, that's the place to be. And they have coffee, they have little desserts. It's like a nice place to cool off and have a drink. They had lavender lemonade, and I was a little nervous about it because I was like, is this going to taste like, like perfume or something? And it didn't. It was really good.
Really?
I liked it.
Sounds good to me, lavender lemonade.
So hopefully I didn't go through everything too fast, but I want to give you an idea of all the things we did.
Speaking of drinks, do you want to talk about the other drink?
Which one?
The one, the blue stuff?
Oh, should we talk about
I
that?
think we decided we were going to.
Okay. We're about to get real personal on here. I hope that's okay.
I don't even know if I've heard this story.
You haven't heard the story. You haven't heard the story.
There was something you were going to say, too, that you were like, I want your reaction, so I'm not even telling. Oh, this is the
it.
story.
This is the story.
This is the one. I've been waiting for the story, too.
All right, dearest listeners, I apologize in advance. I'm about to get real personal. Oh, you're going to jump in on this one, Chris?
I can.
Okay. So when we were in Celestial Park, they have a restaurant there. And we were hot, and we wanted to get something to drink, and it was really hot. I didn't want to have anything that had like alcohol in it or anything, because we were trying to stay hydrated. But it was like the kind of thirsty that like water's not going to cut it, And they had at the bar this mocktail, and I can't even remember what it was called. But if we'll put it in the comments of the show so you guys can order it. It is delicious, and I 10 out of 10 recommend it.
Oh, it's good.
It was blue. It was sweet. It had like a almost like a sweet foam on top with like Pop Rocks. So it would like hit all of your senses. It smelled good. It tasted good. You could feel the Pop Rocks in your mouth. It was delicious. It was so good. We came back and ordered another one. Like so good.
That's what I decided to get one because I just tried yours and I was like, oh, this is good, but I already had a drink. I was like, but we came back and I got myself one.
Yes. All right. So then the next day, I'm so sorry, y'all. The next day, I go to use the restroom. And I don't care who you are. You cannot deny this. Anytime you use the restroom, you stand up, you take a look. You make sure your pee is a good color, that you're not dehydrated.
Yeah.
And you check your poopsies to make sure you're not bleeding to death. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, everybody does it. Sorry.
Yeah.
My toozy was literally green. Shamrock, like St. Patrick's Day green. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, am I okay? And I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I'm talking like bright ass cake icing.
That's actually a sign of too much sugar.
Oh, God.
So you can do that. I mean, I know this from having kids.
Yeah.
Like if your kids ever had too much sugar and then you change their diaper or whatever, you're like, what the heck? They're dying. You know?
This will make sense because I usually don't typically eat a ton of sugar.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh. So later in the day, I was getting ready that morning. I tried not to freak out. And I was like, am I freaking out? Like, am I okay? And so I was like, let me call Chris because maybe just in case there's like an emergency, because I was like, what is wrong? So I called Chris. I go, and he was at the gym. He's like, hey. I go, hey. He's like, what's up? And I said, I need to talk to you about something. And he goes, okay. And I'm like, I need you to make sure I'm okay. And he goes, okay. And I was like, it's really gross and I'm so sorry. Like, I know we're the love of each other's lives and we shouldn't be talking about this kind of stuff, but I need to run this by you. And he goes, okay. And I said, okay, so a little while ago, I took a toozy, and Chris goes, was it green? And I go, yes! He goes, mine too! And I was like, oh my God, I love you so much. I'm so glad we chose each other. He was like, me too! This little magic moment. Thank you, Universal, for...
But I couldn't figure out. I said, well, it must have just been something we both ate yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, we probably ate, I couldn't pinpoint it, but maybe 10 minutes later, I texted. I was like, it was the mocktail.
Yes.
Because it was as blue as could be.
Yeah.
So heads up, if you have the mocktail at the celestial world of Celestial Park, you are going to have green dookie.
Greenish, bluish, aqua looking
Duke Duke.
number 2.
Celestial dookie.
That's
So
awesome.
don't freak out.
Yeah.
Don't freak out. It's normal.
It's the Milky Way.
That's cool. We went to Universal in California. We took the kids when they were older, and Jules was kind of wanting to be like a producer at the time, so we took her to go do that. And it was really cool. We were standing in line at the Mummy. They had just started it or whatever. They picked us out of the line, had us go back up into like the roller coaster, like the whole like where they monitor it, and like you can see like when you pass through, the rails, I guess, change colors.
Oh.
So like, I mean, just like their little movement, when it goes past, like they're monitoring the rails, and they're like picking up on any, like they're very sensitive and they pick up on any change. So I think it's like blue and yellow if it's normal, you know what I mean? And then if it goes red, there's like an issue. Now, anybody who's done this in real life can fact check me. I don't care. But it was really neat. So we got to see them like, all the video. I mean, the whole entire time you're on a roller coaster, you're being filmed. You know what I mean? They just have cameras everywhere, hidden everywhere. So it's not just when they're taking your picture.
They're watching you.
They're watching you the whole time, But it was really neat. They let us go on it, and then we went up and watched, and then we got to go back on it again and experience it with the information we knew, So it was a really neat experience. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite rides. I love it.
The Mummy and that was our first time on it because they had just released it like not that long ago. So that was a really cool experience. To be able to, Kingston was too little. Aww. So we had to take turns, but it worked out good.
Yeah, we're going to take him back.
Yeah.
He'd probably have a great time if he would have gotten his cup of coffee. I like it a lot.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's my only experiences though. I'm not as big on the roller coaster rides as you guys have been. I was too busy making babies than riding roller coasters.
Making up for lost time now. You ride all the rides.
Now I ride all the rides.
You're going to Halloween Horror Nights too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, I know. I was just trying to like
panic for
well, because you threw information at me and I'm trying to figure out when was this and where is it? I guess it's at Universal.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's on the show now. So you got that.
I'm not trying to get out of it. I was just like, it was at, my mind was like, oh, it's at Universal? Like, we talked about it, but I never cued into my dumb blonde brain that it was actually at Universal.
Yeah, they have it at Orlando. They have it at Hollywood Studios too. For the most part, I think most years they have the same houses, but some years there are some houses that are different.
Okay.
on both
Is this just like a
coasts.
really, really big horror, like, walk through haunted house?
Not one big one. There
Are 10 that I have to go through?
Yes.
I barely get through one.
There are 10. And they are built inside of the studios at Hollywood Studios.
Ay, ay,
So, like,
ay.
the
They're
studios
trying to
where they
kill me.
film things. And the set designers come in and design it. The scare actors are incredible. They're like, they rehearse and rehearse and rehearse for months. The costuming is amazing, but the scare actors are like literally what makes it. And you really feel like transported in whatever world you're in. And they have ones based on like IP and things like that, like other famous movies, video games. But in my opinion, personally, the best ones are the ones that the team at Universal make up on their own. Mm-hmm. So they'll kind of come up with different concepts and then execute it. And it's so creative. And some of them have been so cool. They'll like sell shirts for it and people ask for them to come back and over again. Which that's one thing I love about Halloween Horror Nights is they really reward people that go every year. Mm-hmm. Because even for us, like we didn't start going until I think like how many years in?
On the regular, maybe 10 years ago, but we
Yeah.
went scattered before that. But now
Yeah.
we probably every year, obviously, except for like 2020.
We'll go.
we went.
But they give you a lanyard. I wish we were this dedicated. They give you a lanyard for each year, and some people come and wear all of their lanyards for every year. They've been at every single one. They haven't missed one. And when I tell you they reward you, I'm talking going all the way back. Because sometimes we'll be there, like we'll do a tour or something, and we'll be there on tour, and our tour guide will be like, if you remember Miss Hippity Hoppity from Bunny Hell, ba-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, yeah. And we're all looking around like, what? They're like, Hippity Hoppity's going to make another appearance. And we're like, who is this? But they go that far back. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of reminding you of like all the little love eggs they leave for like all their fans.
The Easter eggs.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Easter
Yeah.
eggs.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. I'm going to be exhausted after that because it takes a lot of energy for me to go through one haunted house that takes like 30 minutes because Sarah doesn't like to be caught off guard. So I'm like, my senses like are on high alert the whole entire time I'm in any haunted house, which I just started going through this last year.
I'm really proud of you. Like you just started doing a lot of firsts.
Well, they're only about, they're maybe 10, they're not 30-minute long ones like the one we went to last year. It's
Okay.
5-10 minutes in each one, 10 out, you know, so it's like, it's not like.
But you know, every single time I go through one, like my smell is heightened, my ears are heightened, my visual is heightened. I'm just like dodging everywhere, looking everywhere. My brain is just like I feel like I'm preparing for the end of the world.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Well, and some of these do have a lot of like comedic relief too, which is nice.
Yeah.
They do break it up a little bit.
Yeah,
which
so it's
is
not
nice.
like constant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And they'll have cool like little side things going on if you need like a little sensory break and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's always something to do besides the haunts as well.
Yeah. I love it. Well, it sounded like you guys had a good time. You guys survived the weekend and had to go straight back into the week work.
Yes.
Go straight to
Week
something
work.
else, but
Yes, I had moved on my
Oh, just
clients
kidding. That's
from-
right. You guys did get a break. Chris
Yeah.
had surgery. He's okay.
Okay, he survived.
He
Yep.
survived.
Yep, I usually don't work Mondays. So I had already moved my guests from Chris's surgery day to that Monday, which ended up being the day after Easter. So we didn't plan on going on Easter. That's just how it happened. And it's like the one time I work on a Monday, that's the day we go. So
Yeah.
we went all day, and then I just woke up the next day and just went to work with my clients.
I
And
know.
We're like, what, 4 hours from Orlando?
4.5.
4.5 hours.
5. Probably
So-
takes 5 when you stop. And
Yeah.
look at
We
it.
got
Yeah.
down to the park, rode back. We slept a little, and then I just got up for work and went.
Yep.
Troopers, man.
Troopers.
Committed for you. So we could share all the cool details.
Well, that was a really fun experience.
It was.
Yeah.
I would love to go back. And I guess with the preview, you can get more than one day if you want. But I would love to go back. I definitely think it's a 2-day thing for sure. Mm-hmm. I really do, because the Nintendo World and How to Train Your Dragon World, you could probably do both of those in a day. But Dark Universe and the Wizarding World, you really need a full day in those.
Yeah.
To see everything. There was also a show at the Ministry of Magic that everyone told us we could not miss.
Yeah.
Something happened with it where the time that we were going to go, they had to shut it down for the night, unfortunately. But we were told by someone who is not a show person to go to that show and you'll be blown away.
Wow.
That it's one of the best live shows I've ever seen.
That's crazy.
So don't miss it. Even if you're not a show person, just check it out and see what you think, because you're going to be sad you missed it.
Yeah.
Because we were really sad that we missed it. We heard so many good things about it.
Yeah. Next time, you guys will be back.
Yep.
Yep.
And they officially open this part of the park when?
May 22nd.
May 22nd. So we will be releasing it right before this episode, right before the
Yes.
park opens. I'm glad that we're recording now while it's still fresh in your mind.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
It was so exciting. It was a lot of fun. You really do feel like a child.
Yeah.
You really do feel like, and it's kind of cool because it's offset from everywhere else. When we went to go drive there, we really had no idea where it was. Mm-hmm. And we go to Orlando all the time, so we're like, where is this place?
Yeah.
And then when we started driving to it, we're like, well, dang, no wonder we never would have found it, because you kind of drive kind of deeper into Orlando, and it's kind of its own little island. And then this is the first theme park I've ever seen personally where the resort is there inside the theme park. Mm-hmm. Which, again, I know I don't have kiddos, but I have lots of friends that have kiddos, and this is going to be a game changer. Mm-hmm. Because if you are spending the day at the park and it's a hot day, or the kids just need like a little sensory break, or it's, they want to take a little nap, you literally can just like walk into your hotel room, take a little break, and then just walk right out.
Yeah, that's cool.
The one drawback is if you want to go to any of the other parks, you're probably going to have to drive. Mm-hmm. I'd assume they're going to get like a bus system, a shuttle. They have a shuttle. That's the one drawback, but even then, I think it's worth it.
Yeah.
And that resort we saw the outside of it and it's gorgeous, and we've seen like footage of the inside and it's beautiful.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Might be worth the bucks to stay there one day.
I think it would, like especially if you're going like with your whole family, like extended family. I think it would be 100% worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine what it's priced tonight. But, I used to always think those Disney resorts were pricey, but sometimes you can get them for a decent price, We stayed in one when I took Kingston and Jules to Disney World,
Yeah.
We stayed in one.
Well, sometimes the convenience is worth the cost because you're so close to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the truth. That is the truth. Well, I'm glad Chris is safe and you guys had fun. We're back into real life now. I'm safe. I'm okay.
No, it was fun.
All right. Well, it looks like that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.